Welcome to Quays TV News. Coming up on today's show, a vicious sex attack shocks Fallowfield.
Tackling youth unemployment through rugby league, one team tries to do just that.
Dispiriting news from non-league football, one manager is spooked by a haunting presence. Hello, we start today's show with news of another violent sexual attack in Manchester. A 25-year-old woman was threatened with rape and murder in the early hours of this morning in Manchester city centre.
This follows a violent sexual assault in Fallowfield on Saturday. A 19-year-old woman was dragged into an alley and raped. Police are not linking the two incidents. They've increased patrols but not yet made an arrest. Residents in the largely populated student area are warned to be extra vigilant.
I definitely now would be a lot more conscious of walking back, say, from the bus at night time, as once it's dark.
I never really like to walk home anyway, because it just feels a little bit tense at night. But obviously everyone's taking a bit more precautions now. It's quite shocking to happen in such a busy area.
I've always felt confident walking around Fallowfield, but I suppose now I'm just a bit more aware about where I'm going and letting people know that where I'm going.
There's been an increase in positive drug tests at Quays prison. Among those caught was police killer Dale Cregan. Jim Scott is outside the prison.
An investigation into illegal substances being passed around Manchester's Strangeways prison has revealed a Category A prisoner has tested positive for cannabis. 31-year-old Dale Cregan of Droylsden was arrested last year for crimes he committed in 2012 when he killed 2 police officers and 2 family members. Only last week was Cregan found to have cannabis in his system as a random urine test showed he'd been taking the drug. It's unclear where the drugs have came from and has since been decided to strip him of his privileges, meaning all family visits have been suspended and until further notice moved to a closely watched unit within the complex. The news comes as an embarrassment for the prison service and many questions remain unanswered as to how such a dangerous man could get access to the drugs. Over 64% of prisoners who leave the prison use drugs again, and Strangeways Prison are introducing a scheme which sees specially trained ex-offenders mentor criminals who are coming to the end of their sentence. Jim Scott, Quays TV News, Manchester.
Police were called to Manchester's Green Quarter yesterday morning after an emergency call claimed a man had been shot. Armed police arrived at the scene shortly after 8 a.m. to find the body of a man on the street. It's believed he fell from a height and did not suffer a gunshot wound. Witnesses at the scene were tearful and some tried to resuscitate the man before ambulances arrived.
Now a singing robot, ice cream made of nitrogen. Sounds good, doesn't it, Hannah?
Yeah, it does indeed.
Yeah, well, both of these and much more were here at the University of Salford's Media City campus over the weekend. Our reporter Rachel Williams went along to the Manchester Science Festival.
In the words of Albert Einstein, imagination and knowledge are not the same. Knowledge is limited, yet imagination encircles the whole world. We're here at Manchester Science Festival to see just how far imagination has taken us.
Shiny, intelligent and strong, you might as well prepare for a simulation by singing along.
Hundreds gathered at Salford University's Media City campus to visit the festival in its 8th year. Lots of educational fun was had by children and adults alike, as we found out when we spoke to some of them as they were making seed bombs. What are you doing here?
Like making little balls to put in the garden so seeds can grow out.
Yeah? Oh wow, and are you having lots of fun?
Yeah.
The event invited people of all ages to discover the technological advances in science alongside some crazy experiments.
We're making ice cream from liquid nitrogen, showing how it's around about minus 200 degrees Celsius, so it'll pretty much instantly freeze anything you put into it.
We saw how TV has advanced over the years and the skills required to develop this kind of technology.
So my name's Damien Cox and I'm from BBC Television and Mobile Platforms, and this is our 4th year at Manchester Science Festival here at the university, and we're here with a number of our television and mobile applications, because that's who we are. So we make all the BBC's television applications, and those things as iPlayer, sport, news and red button applications.
From singing robots, seed bombs, egg drops and the television evolution, there was a chance for everyone to experiment with their scientific side and get involved with a unique blend of art, science and creativity. Rachel Williams reporting for Quays TV News.
So right now it's time to talk film. Our resident expert Tom Percival's here over by the small screen. You can call it Irony if you like. So tell me, Tom, what have you been to see this week then?
Well, Jamie, as it's Halloween and I was too frightened to go see The Babadook, I instead went to see Horns, the latest film from Alexandra Aha, starring Daniel Radcliffe as Ignatius Parrish. It tells the story of Ig, who is accused of the murder of his girlfriend. He's then blamed by the townsfolk, and one day he wakes up with a set of horns coming from his forehead, and he tries to find out who did it.
Okay, so now tell me, Daniel Radcliffe obviously stars in this film. Has he shaken off the spectre of Harry Potter then, has he, Tom?
Definitely not. Harry Potter looms large over this. Daniel's supposed to be playing a really threatening character. I mean, he's got horns, a pitchfork, even a snake. The worst thing is, though, you just think, it's Harry Potter. Where's your wand, Harry? He's supposed to be a threatening and menacing presence, and it never works. It's quite funny at times, in fact, to see, this guy who you recognise as one of your childhood icons there when pretending to be some kind of demon.
So what do you reckon? Is it one you would recommend going to see, or what do you think about this one then?
I'm afraid not. You're going to see this in Asda in a couple of weeks with a £5 sticker on it. I reckon it'll probably be on Netflix pretty soon as well. Definitely watch it if it's on Netflix, but beyond that, no.
Super. Thanks very much, Tom. Thank you. Now, from film over to literature, Out of His Head is the latest book by music journalist Mick Middles. It highlights the life of late Chris Civvy, otherwise known as the much-loved comedy character Frank Sidebottom. Mancunian Civvy made regular appearances throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s as the man with the papier-mâché head. He died of cancer in 2010. The book's out next month.
There's some good news for young people in the city now. The Salford Red Devil Foundation have been given funding to tackle youth unemployment. Kieran Curtis has more.
Youth unemployment in Greater Manchester has fallen by nearly 10,000 in the first half of 2014. And to maintain this trend, the Big Lottery Fund is investing £352,000 in Salford Red Devils' Tackle Unemployment scheme. So what are they going to do with this money?
As well, we've run this scheme now based here at the AJ Bell Stadium, which has been a massive success, and we are leaving a legacy behind in the Salford area. Currently, we're now looking forward to another 3 years where the programme's been extended slightly, so it's not just focusing on Salford. We'll be looking at the Trafford area. We're highlighting areas such as money matters, working on your financial arrangement, and also things like gambling awareness and alcohol awareness as well.
The programme consists of a combination of teaching key skills in the classroom and utilising the team's rugby facilities to inspire teamwork and confidence. The approach has been greatly received.
It gives me more direction of what I want to work in, because I'm trying all sorts of different things, so it gives me more of a direction of what sort of job I want to go into.
The Red Devils yesterday played host to Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service 12-week personal development programme in conjunction with the Prince's Trust. So why are these programmes so important to tackling youth unemployment?
Well, it's essential because obviously it's taking the numbers down from job seekers allowance at the job centres, and although the job centres do try their best to send them on different programmes, we do in 12 weeks a lot what the job centres do 2-3 years sometimes, so it's vital.
From the AJ Bell Stadium, this is Kieran Curtis reporting for Quays TV News.
Our political guru Dan McLaughlin's been taking a closer look at youth unemployment. So Dan, this issue is right back on the political agenda.
It certainly is. I'm just looking at that video back then. It's all very well giving these young people these employability skills, and it's admirable to pump the money into it, but there might not be jobs to use the skills. 2015, I'll keep going on about this until May, until the 2015 general election, is going to be the year of promises, or in the case of Lib Dems, broken promises. These young people are going to be first-time voters, perhaps, and they need to understand the spin. And this youth unemployment's not barely been mentioned by the big party leaders. Forgetful Miliband forgot the deficit, and he forgot unemployment in his Labour Party conference speech. David Cameron claims that 1.8 million jobs are going to be created, but we're not sure if this is true.
But Dan, the income tax receipts tell a different story about youth unemployment, isn't that right, and unemployment in general?
They certainly do. These receipts are lower than expected, and the government have lowered income tax, but this is probably a fake optimism from 0-hour contracts. One person could be working 20 hours a week and 0 hours next week. Are they unemployed one week, employed another? The stats could be skewed.
Excellent, Dan. Thanks very much. It sounds like an exercise in spin anyway, you know. Thank you. So, over to sport now. We're talking football pitches, but with a rather different type of grass. Siobhan?
That's right, Jamie. It sounds illegal, but I assure you it's all above board. We're talking, of course, about the grass at Rochdale Football Club. Greater Manchester Police have donated seized cannabis lamps. They're helping the grass grow at Spotland between games.
Well, I was just having some dinner one day with the assistant who works with me as well, and we were just talking about, I wonder what happens when the police do these raids on the cannabis farms. What happens with the lights and the reflectors and everything? So we give the police station a phone call. Now we got the 3 bulbs, 3 reflectors, and 3 transformers off them.
From spotlights at Spotland to mammals, that's middle-aged men in lycra. Expensive bikes and high-spec gear, but does that make a better cyclist? Ben Rees rode along to Manchester's velodrome for some insider tips.
Last Wednesday, the National Cycling Centre in Manchester played host to a Guardian Live event, Science in Cycling. The debate centred upon what amateur road cyclists can do to improve their performance levels. Head physiotherapist at British Cycling, Phil Burt, argued that part-time racers and amateurs should focus less on expensive equipment and more on basic fitness. He suggested a 3-pronged approach. Eat clean, sleep well, and ride hard. Guardian cycling columnist William Fotheringham chaired last week's discussions. He echoed Phil Burt's viewpoint. At grassroots level, fitness and power are king.
At a lower level, power will get you an awful long way. But the higher up the tree you get, everyone's got power. Mm-hmm. And what sets people apart is tactical skill, technical skill, competitive mindset.
Another expert suggested paying attention to descending, whilst also looking down at the chainring. So, for all those 2-wheeled weekend warriors in search for PB, it seems there are 2 unavoidable musts. Keep your eyes down and your legs going round. Ben Rees, Quays TV News.
That looks like it takes a bit of dedication. Jamie, you're into cycling. Do you have a wardrobe full of lycra?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know, Siobhan? What about you, Hannah?
Well, I don't mind cycling as long as it's not raining. So let's see what the weather has in store. Here's David Taylor.
Well, after quite a significant drop in temperature over the last few days, the good news is that the weather will be turning milder towards the weekend. There will be cloud and rain spreading into the region as the temperatures rise a little. Clouds will break up later today and it will feel warmer than yesterday, with maximum temperatures of 17 degrees. Friday through to Sunday will be quite mixed. Saturday and Sunday will be mild with sunny spells, with some rain expected overnight. The Manchester Derby on Sunday is likely to be played in cooler and wetter conditions as more showers are due.
Some football managers would attribute pure form to refereeing decisions or player injuries.
But one local non-league manager says recent results are down to something more supernatural. Stand aside Derek Akora, Jacob Steer investigates.
Yeah, my name is Brent Peters. I'm the club manager of Bacup and Rossendale Borough Football Club. We've been quite successful. You know, we've been to 4 cup finals, 2 we've been winners, 2 we've been runners-up.
Previously just Bacup Borough, in 2013 the club underwent a name change. Since then, things haven't exactly been going to plan, both on and off the pitch.
Since we incorporated the name of the title in Rossendale into the title, it seems to have been all downhill since then. It's no coincidence that things have been happening both on and off the pitch. It was going on for several weeks where the alarm was going off and it was ringing a random number in Ramsbottom. No connection with the club at all.
However, the unexplained events taking place at the club are not restricted to the changing rooms, even beginning to affect on-field performances.
We never even thought anything about it. Rami Raymond was through on goal. He barely connected with the ball. Blimey, Rami, what's all that about? He went, Brett, I couldn't ever explain. He said all of a sudden I'm trying to take the shot, and he said my leg went just split second. There was a weight on my leg. I couldn't lift my leg.
Brent will hope for easier matchday preparations in the future, with his side currently sitting at the bottom of the North West Counties Premier Division. He will hope his side can overcome the supernatural forces conspiring against the club when they take on Ashton Athletic at the weekend. Jacob Stay, Quays TV News.
We'll be back at 1:30 on Tuesday.
Goodbye.